Rav Soloveitchik, of course, managed to get out of Europe before the war, escaped to America before the Shoah began. Specifically, how did this Shoah impact on Rav Soloveitchik's view on Jewish activism?
That's a very, very important point in the Rav's biography. Indeed, he left Berlin in 1932, before Hitler came to power. And he sat out the Holocaust in America and spoke often afterwards about being very, very disappointed in himself and in the Jewish community, the Orthodox Jewish community, of being terribly silent during the years of the Shoah. And this is one of the reasons that the Rav became more active in the Soviet Jewry movement of the 70s and would allow the yeshiva students and the kollel students to take leave from the Beit Midrash to attend some of the demonstrations, because he said he did not want to violate the same Avera twice in one's lifetime, which means, and this is something that the Rav was pretty careful about. With regards specifically with the Shoah, before the Holocaust, the Rav in his family tradition were Agudat Yisrael people. And Agudat Yisrael, before the war, did not look favorably on the Zionist enterprise of establishing a Jewish state before the coming of Mashiach. After the Holocaust, the Rav makes an about face. He was most probably the only one of the surviving Gedolei Yisrael to make such an about face. Most of the others, who were alive and well before and alive and well after, whether they were in America or in the United States, remained committed to their ideology. The Rav changed his mind, and he paid dearly in the yeshiva world for this change of mind. The Rav was basically ostracized by the Aguda yeshiva world for the two sins that he committed. One was becoming a Zionist. He joins the Mizrahi. And the second is because of his involvement in higher secular education, which also didn't go over well in Lakewood. So while the Rav was a personal friend of Rav Aaron Kotler, nevertheless, the system of what becomes the Lakewood Yeshiva, a very anti-Yeshiva University, very, very anti, and did not look favorably on the Rav. But nevertheless, the Rav was courageous, and he stuck to his guns till the very end of his life, and believed that Am Yisrael has to do whatever it can to build up an Eretz Yisrael that would reflect that which Torah Yisrael is all about. Because the Rabbi always talked about that exile, Galut, is not only limited to the fact that Am Yisrael, Jewish nation, was in exile. It says the land is also in exile, and the Torah is in exile. And he felt what religious Zionism was all about was actually the redemptive process of bringing the Torah back to its previous glory. And that can only happen when there's a sustainable Jewish community in Eretz Yisrael practicing mitzvot that are Eretz Yisrael bound mitzvot. And he felt totally identified with the Zionist movement. That doesn't mean he didn't have critical comments to say. He did. He was the guest speaker annually at the conventions of the Mizrahi in New York, in America. And he would criticize here and there, but he would say that I'm criticizing from the inside, from as a family man, not from the outside. And he would hope that some of these critical comments they would take heed to what he had to say. But the basic feeling was that we indeed should be active and not just sit on the sidelines in bringing about the cultivation of Eretz Yisrael. In terms of, he said, we need more religious kibbutzim, we need more farmers, we need more businessmen, this, more that. He used to say that science and technology, that's not necessarily our forte, and we could leave that to the Americans. Well, guess what? Our great Rabbi was wrong. Israel became a global leader in science and technology as well.